Welcome to another episode of Knights of the Gaming Table Chat, episode 3. I am your host, Sir Mr. Clean, joined by Buddy Swift as Gaston and Jeffy Pop. We're going to be talking about games, talking about current pop events. That's actually one thing I didn't think about. We should talk about some TV stuff too, because there's a lot of cool things going on right now in the world of TV. And yeah, so if you have any questions, feel free to post them in chat. We will answer them at the end of the show. Definitely, if you're not already following, make sure you follow, because we do this. We try to do this once a month. We're a little bit late on this episode, but that's okay. So let's introduce ourselves. Let's start with Jeffy Pop.
All right. I am Jeffy Pop, brother of Sir Mr. Clean. I was in software development for about 10 years, and then I moved over to product management. I'm doing that now. Been playing video games for most of my life, mostly MMOs like EverQuest and World of Warcraft, and now I'm playing 14. I've been streaming on Twitch for 3+ years, and been part of Extra Life for 7 years now. Yep.
Excellent. Gaston, introduce yourself.
I am Swift as Gaston. Been playing games for most of my life, so probably about 20-ish years. I occasionally stream on Twitch, maybe like once every other month. That is due to the fact that my girlfriend and I purchased a house earlier this year and decided to remodel the whole thing. So we're still finishing that up. We've got most everything finished up on it, so we're getting close. The end is in sight, so that'll be exciting. As far as games that I play, it's mostly RPGs, JRPGs, open world RPGs, really any kind of RPG. That, and then sports games.
Sports games. You don't talk about sports games very much.
What? Okay,
That's because none of us like sports that much.
Yeah, I just mean baseball games. I used to play the NBA games, but they just got too into the microtransactions. So I quit that.
Cool.
We like Blitzball.
I hate Blitzball. I don't want to talk about anything from Final Fantasy X.
Mister, I'm going to 100% it.
I did.
I know you did. It's a feat. I'll be there at some point. I am Sir Mr. Clean. I am a husband and father for over 15 years. Gamer for over 33 years. Software and game developer for over 20 years. Man, this makes me sound old. It's my 8th year doing the Extra Life charity. And I've been streaming on Twitch for almost 5 years now. Just a few more months and it'll be 5 years. So, yeah, lots of experience here with games, with streaming, with Extra Lifing. It's all good stuff. So let's just dive right into what we always kind of start out with every time we get together. And what are we currently playing? And we'll start with Swift as Gaston.
Currently, actually, you can see it once it loads up. I'm playing this, my Switch. I'm playing some Pokemon.
Pokemon Sword or Pokemon Shield?
I'm playing Sword.
Ooh, nice.
I liked the Legendary a lot better in Sword. And I wasn't aware of the differences in what Pokemon are in Sword and what are in Shield, so I went with Sword. Outside of that, I'm also playing Final Fantasy X-2. Trying to get 100% achievements on it. What else have I been playing? I guess I could look at the document, and that will tell me. We are playing Star Wars: The Old Republic. That is the Star Wars MMO. Sir Mr. Clean and I are playing that.
Yep. We just got our ships.
Yes, we did. We just got our ships and left the second planet.
Yep.
I think it's second. So we've been playing that right here on his stream on Saturday mornings mostly. We've also been playing Final Fantasy 14, but I haven't joined the past couple of Wednesdays because I've been quite busy. And also my subscription expired, so I got to renew that. And then just this weekend, I purchased Disco Elysium and started playing it. Very interesting game so far. Kind of confusing. It doesn't really explain anything. You just have to figure everything out as you walk around and talk to people and interact with the world. And so far, and I think this holds true for the whole game, there's been absolutely no combat. And I don't think there's any combat in the game. Everything is resolved through conversation dice rolls, I guess.
Oh,
It's
interesting.
almost, yeah, it's almost. I won't say it's a point and click. It's I guess you could say it's like a tabletop RPG. Just there's no combat in it. So like you'll talk to people, and like you'll have some options to choose from. And say you have one of the stats is I think it's volition. Say you've got X amount in volition, you can click the volition option and you do a dice roll, and you get either a success or a fail off of that dice roll. And then, obviously, if you fail, you don't get the information that you want. If you succeed, you get the information you want. Interesting story so far. I don't want to spoil it, so I'm just gonna give a brief kind of description. But basically, it starts out you're having some kind of dream or waking up from something. I don't. It's hard to tell. But you play as this detective, and essentially you don't have any memory of what's going on, and you're trying to solve. You're in this town, and you're trying to solve a murder in the town, while also figuring out just what the hell is going on. So it's been interesting so far. It's a little bit different than I was expecting, but the storytelling's good, and the humor is like on point. I love the humor in it so far.
Have you ever seen the movie Memento?
No, I have not.
It's interesting. It's like I think he's like a PI, but he has like short-term memory loss, and so like he forgets things very quickly, so he's constantly leaving clues for himself.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's a very interesting movie. And it's almost like the whole movie is like backwards because he's like constantly like as he goes through it, he's slowly finding like the beginning, like he's starting from the end and working his way to the beginning. So it's like this weird in reverse movie, but it's really fantastically done. It was like a short, like a indie film that kind of went viral because it was just so good. It was like one of the first films I remember people saying that's what first got me introduced to like the kind of indie movie scene and like movie festivals and stuff like that. So it came out like 20 years. I think it's like 20 years old.
He said it was Mementos.
Memento, just Memento.
Sounds interesting. I'll have to see if I can find it somewhere and watch it.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it. And then when you said that, it kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah.
All right,
but I think that's all I'm playing.
Jeffy Pop, what are you playing right now?
Why are Google Docs so hard to do tabs and stuff? That's what I'm playing with right now is Google Docs, and it's not a very good game.
Don't know.
All right, so we had our Extra Life stream last month, right?
Yes, we did do Extra Life last month.
We haven't talked since then, right?
Nope.
All right, so I finished Link's Awakening during that, which was pretty cool. I also started and finished Dead Cells, which was cool. I actually didn't think I would like Dead Cells too much, but it was actually pretty good.
It has a new DLC out soon.
Yeah, and the old DLC was free at least for a while, so
Yep.
pick that up. At least the first playthrough is what I beat, right? And still need to go through it multiple times. Like I said, I'm playing Final Fantasy XIV now. I'm kind of right behind you guys.
What level are you?
38.
Yeah. I think you passed Swift. I'm 46, so
I'll be there next week. So, started playing PUBG again with some friends. That's been fun. And then not a video game, but a card game that I started playing with some friends. That last weekend is Apocrypha, which my friend got into the
Kickstarter
and got like a whole crap ton of the game. it's kind of a cross between like Dominion, where it's a deck building card game, and like Cthulhu Pandemic, where you have to like close rifts and stuff like that.
Interesting.
Pretty interesting. We lost, but it was fun.
I'd like to try that.
Yeah.
I definitely want to try it because I want to be able to. I want to learn from Dave so that I can teach Steve.
It's pretty intense game. Lots to it.
Right on. All right. Well, I am playing a couple games right now. I'm doing a month of Star Wars on the stream, so I've been primarily focusing on Star Wars games. We've been playing SWTOR, like Swift said. We're both playing Sith characters. I think you're what are you, a Sith warrior?
Juggernaut.
Juggernaut.
Yeah, warrior, and then the advanced class is Juggernaut.
Yeah, and I'm a Sith. I'm a Sith sorcerer.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm playing Final Fantasy 14, and my main there is a paladin. I'm playing Jedi Fallen Order, which is fantastic. I played the last 2 nights. I think I put a good solid 7 hours in, probably. I think I've figured out I'm about 27 hours into the game, I think.
You're probably getting close to the end then.
Yeah, I think I'm also playing it very slowly because I've heard some people say they beat it in like 20 hours, and I'm like, I'm 27, and I think I'm only like 75% of the way through the game. So
Well, I think if you just skip everything, you could beat it pretty quickly. But
yeah,
what's the fun in that?
no, and so I 100%ed Kashyyyk. So I got 100% on that, which was pretty cool. I felt great when I found the last secret. I've also been playing The Witcher 3, and I'm really liking The Witcher, and it's getting me more and more hyped for the Netflix series to come out here in a couple weeks.
Oh yeah.
So super excited about that. So that's pretty much what I'm playing. And once I finish the Star Wars month, I'll go back to probably throwing Final Fantasy Tactics back in the mix, and maybe Kingdom Hearts. Maybe try to finish Kingdom Hearts 2.
If you remember how to play
And
Tactics.
Dark Souls 2. I got to start that. So yeah, we got a lot of games to play still. And while I'm, not really putting tons of time into the games on the list, we've got a couple more funded. So I got to go through and beat. I got to beat Link's Awakening. I got to beat Ocarina of Time, Horizon Zero Dawn, Fallout. Fallout 4, Persona 5. Like, there's just so many games.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff that you gotta.
Yeah, so I've got plenty to play, and I'm also been like, I feel so on the outskirts with Pokemon. I really want to play some Pokemon, but I just don't have time.
The good thing about Pokemon is they're, with the exception of the new one, but you could argue it's on a handheld, but they're all on handhelds. So if you're out running errands or whatever, you're gonna wait. Just take it with you and play it.
Yeah, I want to stream it. That's the problem.
Oh, gotcha.
So I don't know.
Do you have it set up so you can stream your DS?
I'm working on it. There's a software thing that lets you stream it.
Yeah, there's a.
It's called Snicker Stream. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
That's why I got the new one, because it's got the better processor in it, and so it apparently has like almost no lag when you're streaming using that software. So I'm going to try it out at some point. All right, so let's move on to our next kind of section for tonight, which is our New Year's resolutions. So this is kind of a little more open-ended. Basically, the idea is any games that, as a New Year's resolution, you want to start playing, or you want to finally finish, or you recommend that somebody start playing. So I'll start with Gaston again, and just give a brief why, whatever your choices are.
I'm just gonna do recommendations on mine.
Okay.
'Cause I'm like you. I have so many games in my backlog that I can't even begin to sort them for what I want to play. Plus, there's a ton of stuff coming out next year, which I'm probably going to prioritize that because I don't want it spoiled. So for my recommendations, I'm going to start off and say, if you have not played Persona 5, do yourself a favor and play it. It is, I can't believe I'm going to say this. It's probably my favorite game. that's beating out The Witcher 3 and
Bold move. Bold move.
I know, yeah. But I don't know, just everything about that game. There's so much detail put into the city because it's based in Tokyo, and you can tell that they actually. I mean, there's people that post pictures of the actual locations from the game, and they're spot on, exactly the same. So there's a lot of care put into it. The music, the soundtrack in it is. I mean, I listen to it on the way to and from work, and I have been for like 3 months now. So the music is some of the best music I've ever listened to. Not even like just video game music, just music in general. It's really, really good. Um, and then it's just a solid story, well told story, good voice acting. Overall, just an incredibly well balanced game. Um, Next recommendation I would say would be Jedi Fallen Order. Because I played and beat that. I think I played and beat it in like a week, maybe two. Um, Really, really good story on that. Combat's a little bit clunky, but once you get into it, it's really good. Once you get used to it, it's pretty good combat. And then it feels like Star Wars. There's something, if you're a Star Wars fan, you know what I mean by Star Wars has this feel to it, and this game has that Star Wars feel to it. I mean, we haven't had a single player Star Wars game like that for over 10 years now, probably more. So definitely do yourself a favor if you haven't played Fallen Order, play it. And then my last recommendation is going to be two games actually, but they're both from the same series. It's going to be Dragon Quest VIII and Dragon Quest XI. I played Dragon Quest XI when it first came out, and I've been thinking about it here recently, because I've just been seeing some screenshots and stuff from the Switch release of it. But it's just a really well told story, really polished game. Plays nice. I mean, it's standard JRPG, but if you've played Dragon Quest, you'll really like Dragon Quest XI. And then 8 is probably my favorite Dragon Quest game. Same reasons. Good story, great music. Just a fun game to play. There's a lot of elements to it that make it really relaxing, but also really rewarding.
Awesome.
I think that's all I've got for my recommendations.
Hey, for Persona 5,
Yeah.
should I play any of the other Personas before I jump into that one, or are they not really story like connected?
They're not connected at all. So I was the same way before I jumped into 5. I was like, well, do I need to play the other 4 before I play this one? So Persona series is actually a spin-off series of the Shin Megami Tensei series, which is another set of RPG games that started way back in the Super Nintendo days. But they're a numbered series, but they're not connected in any way, like story-wise or anything. They're just kind of in the same universe.
If you want to play one, I have it. It's on my PS1 Classic. It's not graphically, it's terrible looking.
Oh yeah, it looks awful.
And honestly, like most people that I talk to love P4 Golden on the Vita.
Yep.
That's like a really good one. Like, and everybody says like 4 and 5 are just awesome.
Yep. And 5 actually has I don't really want to say it's a remake, but I guess it's a retelling, sort of, kind of revamped edition, coming out March of next year.
Oh yeah, Persona 5R.
Yep. And it also has I guess it's a straight up sequel, the Switch game.
Persona 5 yeah.
S.
I heard about that.
Yeah, the Phantom Strikers. Apparently it's a straight sequel. And everybody thought it was just like a spin-off game, but it's supposed to take place X amount of time. I think it's so many months after Persona 5. So I'm looking forward to both of those.
Right on. Jeff Hip Hop, your New Year's resolutions.
So I would say, I picked up Link's Awakening and beat it during the stream, the 24-hour stream. I definitely recommend that. Perhaps it's a lot of nostalgia talking there, but it did come with our original Game Boy when we got it. But it was a really, really smooth playthrough, and it's I think the game itself still holds value, even though like it's 20 years old. It was still fun and challenging. So yeah, I definitely recommend that. The other New Year's resolution is for me. I want to start my Final Fantasy marathon, which I played Final Fantasy 1 3 years ago when I started streaming. So I'll pick up.
Did you beat it?
Yeah.
You beat it on stream?
Yeah.
Did you play the NES version? Or did you play the...
NES.
Okay. You didn't play the PS1 Origins version or whatever?
Nope.
Okay.
So
Play the mobile version.
good.
That's what I did that at work.
I am in a lot of meetings. I could just sit there and like
Play. What are you doing? Nothing.
I just got the
respond to
canoe.
Yeah. So that's my game. Really, one of the only few that I played this year that I recommend people pick up.
Cool. So I'm going to echo, for my New Year's resolution, I'm going to echo what Gaston said about Jedi Fallen Order. I think it's probably going to be my game of the year. I was actually asked on Twitter. I saw somebody was posting like game of the decade. So anything that was released from 2010 to now. And I was going to put Jedi Fallen Order on that list, but I haven't beat it yet. So I set a rule for myself, because there's a lot of good games. I set a rule for myself that I wouldn't list it in that type of a scenario unless I beat it. So I had picked like, I think Spider-Man, Breath of the Wild, and Doom, the new release of Doom, were kind of my 3 games of the decade.
You leave out Skyrim?
Yeah, I didn't get into Skyrim as much as I thought I would.
Yeah.
I mean, I did when I first got it, but when I went back to play it, I just wasn't as into it as I was when it first came out.
Yeah.
So, like, by the time I finally beat it, I was like, man, I'm kind of over it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, I could go back and play Oblivion, but Skyrim, I'm just kind of like, I have to mod this.
The other game that I really think pretty much everybody should play eventually is Witcher 3. I'm constantly amazed at the detail and how beautiful the game is. Like, it is just it's still probably one of the most prettiest games I've ever played. Just riding your horse in the morning and like the sun's coming up and a light coming through the trees, like they nailed just the feel of kind of the open world, and it's fantastic. And the storytelling is amazing. Every side quest feels important and relevant. I really haven't come across any quests where like it felt super generic. They've all pretty much had some sort of a story and unique characters, and you know, they all had emotion. Like the voice acting was really good. Like I can't complain about any of it so far. And honestly, I don't have any complaints on the game at all right now. Like I'm going through Jedi Fallen Order and I'm like complaining about little things here and there, you know, like I wish this fighting wasn't this way. Like I wish when you're blocking, you could also attack without letting go of block. Like there's just some things that bother me. The other game I would recommend is also, I'm going to echo what Jeff said, Link's Awakening. It's still one of my favorite Legend of Zelda games. It was the first, I think, Game Boy game that I ever beat. Because like Jeff said, it came with our Game Boy. We had like the Game Boy Link's Awakening edition or whatever. It wasn't, back then they didn't do fancy editions on the Game Boys. But it came in the same box or whatever, so that's another game I think that if you haven't played it and you have a Switch, you're doing yourself a disservice. You should absolutely pick it up. And then if I had to say something like one of my resolutions, honestly, I don't have one. I've got too many games to think about. I can't really focus in on one. Um, it'd be nice by the end of the year, if by New Year's, which isn't necessarily a resolution. It's more of a just a time thing. So by New Year's, it'd be nice to have beaten the main story in Final Fantasy 14 so that we can finally get to some expansion content, which I heard is just like astronomically better. So I've heard nothing but great things about all of the expansions. So all right, now as I'm reading through these now, like I'm talking about. Okay, our next topic is personal game of the year. So for us, what's our favorite game that came out during the year 2019? The more I think about this, it's almost like I asked the same question 3 times, because all of our answers are probably going to be pretty similar to what we've already said. But we'll go anyway, and that'll let you give a little more color as to why this is your personal game of the year. And you don't have to do 3. If you only have 2, that's fine. If you only have 1, that's fine. I kind of wanted to max it at 3 though, so we'll start with Jeff this time.
Well, that's good because I've only played 2 games that came out this year. One being
No, I guess that is true because Smash came out last year.
Yeah, although Smash didn't qualify for it qualifies for Game of the Year this year for the Game Awards.
Yeah,
because it came out too late last year. So if you want to,
but his rules suck. He should move the Game Awards to like February.
Yeah,
I don't want to include that.
Yeah.
So Link's Awakening, game I played and beat this year. The only other PC game that I played this year, well, whatever. The only other game I played this year on the PC was Apex Legends. That came out earlier this year.
Yep.
I still think that they did a really good job in hiding it until they released it, and then everyone's like, "What the hell is this?" And it kind of blew up, and it might have died a little bit lately, but it was really, really hot for quite a few months thereafter, and it was a fun game to play for a little bit.
that really came out this year.
Yeah, it came out like in February or March, didn't it?
Yeah.
I thought it was out last year. Holy cow!
And it was like a total surprise.
Yeah,
And it's free to play.
It is. It's actually a very good shooter. Like, it's a very well-made shooter. Out of all the competitive shooters, it's my favorite. Out of the
those are
3
my
that
2.
I've played. All right, Swift.
so my games of the year 3. I actually didn't play this one, but I watched Karina play it. Number 3 for me is Untitled Goose Game. I know it's on the Switch, and I think it's also on PC. Just
might
a
be right.
fun little game. You play as a goose, and the point of the game is to go around and annoy the village at which you are near. I don't know. It's just one of those games. It's just kind of fun to sit down and play. It doesn't take itself seriously. It's a good game to just play it, forget about what's going on in the world, and just be the silly little goose and run around and honk at people and cause some mischief. It was really really well done. Very small studio out of I think Australia. It was pretty well received overall.
Mhm.
So that's my number 3. Number 2, I would say, is going to be Pokemon Sword and Shield. Most people will probably disagree with this, but these are hands down the best Pokemon games since the 3rd generation.
Which was what, Ruby, Sapphire?
Yeah, that would be Ruby, Sapphire, and then later Emerald.
Right.
I think that came like a year after Ruby and Sapphire, but yeah, this generation is the best since 3rd generation, particularly because a lot of the designs for the new Pokemon in it are some of the best designed Pokemon that they've had ever. The story's a little bit weaker, but I mean, it's Pokemon when it comes down to it. It's about the little guys that you catch. and some of them have some of the coolest designs that I've seen in the Pokemon series so far. And then,
Is it the Galar region?
Yes.
So they're Galarian types, like
They have Galarian types, and then just the ones that are specific to the region.
Right.
So like, there's like Galarian Weezing, which has the top hat, and there's Galarian Farfetch'd, which has its evolution. But then there's just the Pokemon like Scorbunny that
Right.
are just part of that region.
right. Yeah, I saw there was like a Galarian Meowth, I think, or something too, that has like a huge beard.
Yep. That's actually probably one of the few designs that I don't like in this generation is that Meowth.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You hate beards. Interesting.
Yeah.
Even though
I
you
really,
have one.
really
Even
hate
though you
beards.
have one.
It takes a lot of effort to shave every single day, so
It does.
yeah.
Oh, real quick before you finish,
Sure.
I had a quick question just about Pokemon in general.
Yep.
As I'm trying to plan out my quest through all the different series of Pokemon, do you think, and I already did this with Crystal, do you think it's better to get the version that came out like a year later of that series or whatever? So like, should I get Emerald? Should I get Ultra Sun or Moon? Should I get, White Black 2? Like what are your thoughts on kind of that, like the remastered or whatever they come out with a year later? Is that typically the best version to get?
Not necessarily.
Figured you'd probably say that.
Yeah.
Because they're always, I feel like I read all these articles and they're all over the place. Like, it's super
Yeah.
subjective, it seems like. So
It really is. It kind of depends what you're playing it for. If you're playing it for,
for me, it would probably be story and the most variety of Pokemon to get myself familiarized with them.
okay. If that's the case, then typically, yeah, you'll want to go with the year 2 release of whatever it is.
Okay.
So for red and blue, you should get yellow.
Which is basically, I'm playing basically Pokemon Let's Go.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's go. Yeah, that'll get you. Because red and blue are very frustrating to go back and play now because they have a lot of outdated mechanics.
Yeah.
So they're kind of difficult to play now. They're still fun, but they're frustrating.
And then I got Crystal already, and I'm already like an hour into that, and that's pretty cool. It's the first Pokemon I've played where I actually had to fight the Pokemon and get them down, and then try to capture them. So
Yeah.
that whole mechanic is blowing me away already.
Oh, that's right. Because in Let's Go, you don't do that.
No, you just catch them with a ball, like you do in Pokemon Go.
Yeah, you have to fight them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been different for sure. It feels a lot different playing it that way. So
Yeah. And then, yeah, I would go with Emerald for Gen 3. I always get confused. I think Gen 4 is Diamond Pearl. And Gen 5 is Black and White. Now, Black and White 2 isn't the second year remake. It's actually a sequel. So you
oh,
want
interesting.
Black and White and Black and White.
But is it not a different gen? It's the same gen,
Right.
but just a different story. A new
Yeah,
story.
It's just a continuation of the
Okay.
story.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah, because I made a list. Hold on, let me pull it up real quick.
let me see. Oh, excuse me.
Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, so yeah, Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum was the year 2 release of that.
That's it. Yeah.
Then there's then Heart Gold and Hearts and Soul Silver came out, which were remakes of Gold and Silver.
Yes.
Then Black and White 2, which they didn't have a second year of either of those games.
Yeah, that was the only one where they just did sequels.
And then there's
in lieu of the-
X and Y, which I already have Y. Then there's Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which were remakes of the original Ruby Sapphire.
Mhm.
So those are actually like 3DS remakes of an original Game Boy game, huh?
Mhm.
Huh, interesting. I wonder if I should just play
You
those
actu-
versions.
Yeah, I would actually suggest.
Suggest what?
I would suggest Omega and Alpha over Emerald.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I forgot
play
that they
either
had those.
play either Ruby or Sapphire. Okay.
Yeah.
Then there's Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Moon, and then Sword and Shield.
Yeah. And for Sun and Moon, I would do one of the ultras. I really hate that generation though. It's so bad. But yeah, I would not do Emerald. I would do Omega, Ruby, or Alpha Sapphire.
Okay.
And then I'm trying to remember, because Black and White, they did the sequel, so you'll need to play Black or White, and then Black 2 or White 2. And X and Y, they didn't do.
Yeah, I don't
like,
think they
the
did a
third version.
Yeah, I don't think they did a third version of that game.
Let me see. They did not. So,
Well, cool. I wonder if they're going to do one for Sword and Shield.
Yeah, that's a good question.
People are already
'cause-
talking about whether or not they think they might. So,
Yeah, because if they stick to their normal release schedule, the next thing they would do would be their remake of Diamond and Pearl. So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
yeah. All right. So, your number one.
Number one game of the year is Jedi Fallen Order. I can't say enough about this game. I mean, Respawn really hit it out of the with this game. It's just, like I said earlier, it has that Star Wars feel to it. I mean, even as you're just walking around and exploring, you'll hear the music, and it feels like something that could be in a Star Wars movie.
But it's not music that you've heard before,
Right.
which is
yeah,
really
it's-
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. The composer for it did some interesting things where he took some small pieces from the movie, but then incorporated it into his own songs and kind of made it his own. And there's also pieces that are just straight up his that don't have any other pieces from the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's such a good game. I mean, it's got overall good combat. There are a few minor complaints that I had with it. Characters are great. Voice acting was fantastic. Story was really great. And I can't wait for you to beat it so we can talk about the story. It was just overall just a good game that you can tell that had a lot of people that are passionate about Star Wars working on it.
Yeah.
So that's definitely my game of the year. Those are really the only 3 games that I played that came out this year.
For me, my personal top 3, I'm gonna surprise y'all. My number 3 is probably Rage 2. I got it on release. I played it on my birthday stream. I got sick in the middle of it and had to quit. It wasn't because of the game. It was because I got the flu. But I literally had a fever and was about ready to pass out, so I had to quit streaming. And then I've only come back to it a couple times, but every time I do, it's really fun. So it feels like open world Doom to me, which I think is awesome because I love Doom. So a more faster paced shooter. And what I'm excited about when I finally get back to it is unlocking all these crazy abilities that let me kill people in creative ways. Because I've got a taste of it, but I want to power up some of the things so that I can throw people in the air and rip them apart and just do all kinds of crazy stuff and attach bombs to them and then magnetize the walls and fly them against the wall and do all kinds of crazy stuff. So there's just a lot of really cool mechanics. I don't think I got a big enough. I don't think I got a lot of attention because I thought they did a terrible job at advertising it. They didn't really push it until the last week, and they really should have been pushing it a month before the game came out. And I actually heard this from a lot of outlets too. A lot of people were saying, oh my gosh, Rage is coming out this week, and we just totally forgot about it because like they're not doing any advertising. So it definitely suffered from that, but they keep adding to it. So there's a bunch of content that's been added to it since it came out. I bought the collector's edition, so I got the little boomerang that came with it, which is pretty cool. And then for my number 2, I'd probably say Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. I'm gonna finish it. It's incredibly cute and ridiculous, and it's amazing, and I got the amiibo to prove how cute it is. I mean, it's freaking adorable. The game is fantastic. It has a lot of nostalgia for me too, mainly because I grew up with it, but this remake is just, it's all the care and love in the world put into this game, and it shows. And I hope they not the cutesy part of it, but just I hope they can put some love into some other remasters of beloved Zelda games or Mario games or just any major Nintendo property. I feel like they kind of did it with Metroid 2 Samus Returns. I just wish that was on the Switch. I wish it wasn't a 3DS game. I feel like it really should have just been on the Switch. Because that's a great game too. Metroid 2 Return of Samus is probably the second Game Boy game I ever beat. So it holds a lot of nostalgia for me as well. And then my number 1 for this year, I have to give it to Jedi Fallen Order as well. Like, it's the one. It is the Star Wars game that I've always wanted. That I've wanted for the past 10 years. I haven't played a good first-person Star Wars game since probably Shadows of the Empire on the N64. So like this was 20 years in the making for me. And like everything Gaston said, like it feels Star Wars. The music's incredible. The voice acting is incredible. The gameplay is incredible. Once you like get to the end of unlocking all your skills, you really start to feel like a powerful Jedi. And it's it starts out like rough, like everything's kicking your butt and it's frustrating and it feels very Dark Souls-ish, and then you get your abilities and you start leveling up, and man, you're just doing some crazy combos. And I pulled off the bullet thing last night, which was so fun, like pausing the blaster bolt and then pulling the stormtrooper into it, and it was just fantastic. Felt so good. So yeah, there's just so many cool things about that game. I can't think, even if I did play other games this year like Death Stranding or Pokemon, like I don't think they would overtake Jedi Fallen Order. So any other comments on our personal faves for the year?
On the topic of you and Star Wars games, you need to get back to Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
It was because I think that would also be the Star Wars game that you're looking for. It's still one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to get back to it too.
Yeah.
Maybe after I beat Jedi Fallen Order, because I'll have, if I beat it before the 20th, I've got time to fill in with another game. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Although I did pick up Vader Immortal, so I'm going
the
to.
VR one?
Yeah, I'm gonna stream that next week probably. I got episode 1, and I was pleasantly surprised that Oculus does this. It makes total sense, but I was super afraid that I'd have to buy it multiple times for the Rift and for the Quest. But once I bought it for the Rift, I got a free download on the Quest, so I was super happy that I didn't have to buy it again. I mean, it makes sense. It's the same like platform, but it's not the same platform. Like they're two different stores.
Yeah.
But it is the same like parent company, so it makes sense that you'd be able to do that. But I'm not sure if every game does that. I know Vader Immortal does, but I don't know about every game. But that was a nice touch. So made me happy. Means I can play it on the go, or I can play it at home and stream it. So.
And then you can throw up.
I'm not gonna throw up.
You don't.
Dude, I played
the motion sickness.
I played Elite Dangerous in the headset a couple weeks ago. That was fun. It felt so cool, like being in the cockpit and like looking around and then like dogfighting. It was cool. It was really cool.
that's a game, either that or Star Citizen, where
Mhm.
like I could see myself in the future, like building like a whole cockpit and then having a VR headset for it, and
Yeah.
that would be so cool to me. But the only problem is I will vomit
Yeah.
because VR gives me terrible motion sickness, and I don't know why.
A lot of people are very sensitive to it. So,
Yeah, I'm
especially
hope.
older VR. Like now
Yeah,
it's so much smoother and it just feels better, but like even before, like if it's choppy at all, it makes me nauseous.
yeah, and
So,
that's what I'm hoping. As the technology improves,
yeah.
quality gets better, it affects people less and less.
Yeah. I think it'll get better.
I
Yeah,
haven't
I
done
just
it enough to be sick or not sick from it. I just haven't done much VR at all.
yeah, I don't see.
I'm in VR every day now.
Well, you developed for it, don't
Yeah. I just like throw this on and I'm ready to go.
you? I don't know that it'll ever catch on for home use because it's just got such a high cost of entry.
Yeah, it still is pretty expensive. I think the Quest is seriously the best deal though. I mean, it's still $300, but it's standalone, so you don't need anything else.
Oh, okay. So
Which is what's nice about it. The Quest is completely standalone.
so you don't have to have a computer or TV
Yep.
or anything.
So like here's the Quest. This it comes with this and the controllers, and that's all you need.
Okay. See, yeah, that I could see, but like, PlayStation VR, the Rift,
But even what's cool now is the Rift S has it has the cameras on the headset now, so it does inside out tracking, so you don't need sensors. Like you used to have like sensors
oh yeah,
around
yeah,
the room.
mhm.
So you don't need that anymore with the Rift S, which makes it even better. Now you only got the one cable and you're good to go.
But you still have to hook that up to a computer.
Yeah, that has to be hooked up to a computer. Now, what's really cool is the Quest is completely wireless, but if you want to, they now have a cable that you can plug into it and you can play your Rift games using this headset. So you actually only have to buy this headset and a cable and you can get almost the same experience you get with the Rift S.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so they really have brought it down now because now you're paying $300. You can play it with or without the computer. You've got an option, and it's the cheapest way to get in. Thank you for the host, Alice.
See, I think that would catch on because that's as a console, but with the the Rift, you have to have a pretty beefy computer to run
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And then the headset itself is what, like 500,
It's 400.
400.
Yeah.
So I mean, for a computer to be able to run it, you're looking at,
Just
I'd
under
say
a
at
grand
least-
minimum to build it yourself.
yeah. And I mean, even then, that might be pushing it as far as being able to handle it. I would say,
No, I
Well,
mean I just built a computer for a grand for the school, and it's
Oh,
totally
okay.
it's totally VR ready.
yeah. Well, I get, yeah. I
It
get
has like
now.
a lower end 1080 graphics card, an i7. Yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah. So $900, $1,000.
Yeah.
Then the 400 for the Oculus. So yeah, you're looking at $1,400-$1,500 just to get started.
Yep. So the Quest being only 300 is a great entry point
Yeah.
for a lot cheaper.
Yeah. See, that I would do something like that. I would just have to test it beforehand and see
Yeah.
if it,
Come visit. You can play mine.
all right. Maybe after you guys are done with all your snow.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
So-
not down for that.
June?
Yeah, June.
Works for me because it'll be 110 in June.
All right, let's move on to Rumor Mill. I had nothing for this really.
I had one thing for this, and that was there was what's supposedly a leak for some concept art for Fable 4, which I absolutely love the Fable series, and based on the concept art, I'm excited for this game. It still has not been officially announced, but it is nice to see rumors resurface again because it, means it's still on people's minds at least, even if it's not actually being worked on. I hope it means that Microsoft is at least paying attention and going, "Hey, people still really want Fable." And the rumor is that who does the Forza games?
Forza?
Yeah,
I don't remember. They're part of Microsoft Studios, though, aren't they?
yeah, but it's that. Though that's the developer that's supposedly working on Fable 4.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. But I'm just glad to see some kind of rumor about concept art and it being worked on, because that series is one of my favorite series ever.
Yeah, I played a few hours of the first game, I think. But that was it. Okay, let's move on to events that are coming up. So most of you guys know I stream on the Nerd Stash on Tuesday nights. We are doing another big 60-hour marathon. It's the We Believe marathon. It's for the holidays. It's very holiday themed. It's going to be next weekend, December 13th through the 15th. And I have a slot playing on the 13th at 10 p.m., which is on a Friday. So it'll be from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. that Friday night. Not sure what game I'm going to play yet. Depends on where I am with Fallen Order. I'm hoping I'll have it beaten by then, though. So I'll probably be playing something else. Maybe we'll either do KOTOR or maybe we'll play more Witcher. And then we have the Game Awards on December 12th. That's Thursday, the day before that. Actually, I should have had that first. Game Awards, I'm still up in the air. If I can co-stream it, I'd like to. So I might actually take that night off of bowling and stream it. If they don't allow, if they're kind of against the whole co-streaming idea, for the general public anyway, because I know some streamers are going to be like granted permission to do it. But if they're not going to do it, then I might just wait. But I like to be there to see any exclusives and to hear some of the news right away. So yeah, that's plans. That's stuff that's coming up.
Last year they had some pretty big announcements.
They did.
Game Awards.
Yeah, they announced one of the first, I want to say one of the first DLC characters for Smash, I think, during that.
It was the first one. It was Joker from Persona 5.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yep.
And it was really cool the way they did it because they like broke in and stole the show.
Yeah, like everything kind of like went down, the lights went out, and all that stuff.
Yeah, it was probably my second favorite kind of reveal. My favorite is Cyberpunk.
Yeah,
they like hacked E3 or whatever 2 years ago.
Oh, not the Keanu Reeves thing.
No, not the Keanu one. They did
That was pretty
the
good.
year prior, where they like hacked it and just put a short blip of a message about it.
Oh yeah. Ah man, Cyberpunk is gonna be so rad.
Yeah. Yep. I can't believe that game was first announced in 2013.
Gosh.
Also, past events that did happen since last stream was BlizzCon.
Oh yeah, you went to BlizzCon.
Diablo 4, Overwatch 2, new WoW expansion.
Shadowlands, is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
And then
they
the new
announce,
Hearthstone expansion too.
Yeah, Hearthstone.
Yep.
The dragons. It's the year of the dragon. It's actually the best time for me to be playing because I love dragons, but I'm not.
And what's that new mode called?
Oh, Battlegrounds.
Yeah, that RNG on top of RNG.
It's kind of fun. I've had fun with it.
It's dumb.
You also went to Disneyland.
Yeah.
And I built a lightsaber, and I got
Ooh.
to go on the Millennium Falcon ride 3 times.
They just opened the second ride there.
Where's that at?
In the Star Wars area. There's 2 rides there. There's a Millennium Falcon ride. I think it's more like a roller coaster. It's called Rise of the Resistance.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, they did have some stuff under construction when we were there.
yeah. How was the lightsaber building experience? Because we're thinking about doing that when we go to World.
It's expensive. It was cool. They have a thing that you go through. It's kind of short, but the lightsaber is really cool.
Yeah.
It's $200. Better be
Yeah.
cool. But it comes with a case. That's nice.
Yeah,
And you get to pick the color.
and you build the hilt, right? So there's 4 different. Yeah, you'll see when you go.
Okay.
Cool. It's a cool experience.
All right. Next, let's talk about Extra Life a little bit. So, during the marathon, as a team, I believe we raised like $3,000 that day, more than $3,000 that day. So we did really good as a team. So Knights of the Gaming Table kind of rocked it on game day. I know Jeff. I think you raised almost 1,000 during the day, didn't you?
Yeah.
And he's missing his beard.
Yeah, and
Oh,
he
by the
was
way.
he was forced to shave his head and beard
Yeah.
on camera, which was super fun to watch.
Yeah, I did that.
That
during
he
my
did
stream.
that during when we were playing Final Fantasy 14. I remember he was in the background.
Yep. Yeah, so as a team, we're at like 98% of our goal. So we're almost there. So we've got a few more weeks, hopefully, to finish that off, and we can hopefully put this one in the bag and hit our $30,000 year to date as a team, which would be freaking fantastic. So hopefully we can hit that. Last thing we were going to talk about before we go to any viewer questions is TV shows. What TV shows are we looking forward to, or maybe just happened and we're excited to be watching?
Mhm.
Who wants to pipe up about it? Jeff, you haven't talked as much, so you
I have
start.
both of them because I know that we're all going to bring them up, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mike already talked about, or Mr. Clean already talked about it earlier. But the one I am going to bring up is Star Wars: The Mandalorian on Disney Plus. It's a lot of fun. There's 4 episodes out right now.
Mm-hmm.
They come out every Friday. 2 episodes ago, I was watching it and I was like, "Man, this feels like a video game." Like I could totally see them releasing a Mandalorian video game. Different jobs or classes for the bounty hunters. It's a lot of fun. A lot of swag coming out for it. Christmas ideas, Christmas presents.
Baby Yoda.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a lot of. It's really cool, and that's the main reason I got Disney Plus, and mostly the only thing I've watched.
I've watched some of the World According to Jeff Goldblum. It's actually really funny.
That's so entertaining. Jeff Goldblum. So fun to watch.
Nerd Stash, thank you for the raid.
And then the other one, of course, we just found out got renewed for a 2nd season a couple weeks ago. It's not even out yet. You guys are excited about this more than I am because I haven't played it. Is The Witcher.
Really, they renewed it for season 2 already?
They did.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yep.
They must be very confident in it.
They're really confident. So
Yeah.
so I read early screenings. So some people have already seen the first 4 or 5 episodes, I think.
Oh yeah.
They're basically saying I can't believe it, but they're basically saying the battle sequences in this movie make Game of Thrones battle sequences look like children playing with sticks. So like that's some pretty high praise already, because there were some good battle scenes. I mean, everything was kind of slow, but I can imagine, because of the way he fights, like it just being fantastic.
Yeah. Well, and if you read the books, because the series is based on the books, he's not a very clean fighter. He gets cut and injured and hurt a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But because he's a mutant, he heals quick,
yeah,
and he's always popping potions. The guy's always drunk.
yep.
So
I'm very excited for it. I was hesitant to get very excited about it initially, because I'm not a huge fan of Henry Cavill, because I don't think he's a very good actor.
Yeah.
But from their previews, I'm excited. He really fits it.
yeah, And like early talks about that specifically are basically like we were iffy on him, now we're completely sold. So I'm hoping to feel the same way. I mean, I don't have as much experience with Witcher. I only really have the first book and then the 3 games.
Yeah.
So I haven't read the rest of the books to know about all of his journeys and stuff, but it's probably going to make me want to read them. Like, I'm going to want to know everything about the character by the time I watch the first couple episodes, I bet.
Well, the good news is that the first season is based on that first book that you've read, so you should be
Okay.
good for the first season, as far as being up to date.
Okay.
The only bad thing about the Witcher television series is it's out the same day as Star Wars:
That's true.
Rise of Skywalker.
Yep, comes out on your birthday, Jeff.
Oh, I might have to take the day off then. And
It's a Friday, so
The Witcher, is that on? Did they announce Netflix or?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's Netflix.
Okay.
December 20th.
So I can watch the whole thing one day.
Yeah.
Bang it out.
Well, you can try. I don't know how many episodes it is.
Yeah, they haven't said how many episodes. Well, we know there's at least 5 because they said that
Yeah.
people got to preview the first 5 episodes, so we know there's at least 5. I'm guessing it's probably 8.
I would say 8 or 10.
8 or 10, yeah. That sounds like a pretty good
Only
vote.
10 hours, probably, right?
Yeah, it's probably an
Yeah,
hour
probably.
per.
Yeah,
That is the one
maybe
thing
that-
that surprised me with The Mandalorian was that it's only like 30 to 40 minutes per episode.
That is rough. Yeah.
Yeah. This latest episode was the longest one.
Yeah, I think it was like 44 or 45 minutes.
Yeah, and it was the best one in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's weird how people are so divided. Like, so many people say it was the worst. It felt like a filler episode, and a lot of people are, and the less people are saying that it was their favorite. I just think
Interesting.
I think it keeps getting better and better. So
Yeah, I would say the first 2 episodes. It's a show that's happening, and it's Star Wars, so I'm gonna watch it. Then episode 3, I really enjoyed, and this one was definitely my favorite.
I thought the part kind of in the night at the night when the walker was coming through, like
Oh yeah, with the
I was
eyes.
I was like, this is seriously
That was
dark,
cool.
man,
Yeah,
and I liked it.
and I am enjoying it's kind of telling a different perspective of the Star Wars universe. You know, something you
Yeah.
don't ever see in the movies.
Same kind of universe, just from a different angle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm liking it, enjoying it a lot.
Yep, and I really can't complain about it much. 'Cause my Disney for free through my Verizon bill,
Yeah.
so
Same here.
Nice. Congratulations, guys.
well, your bill is probably cheaper. So
Yeah, if I wanted to upgrade to unlimited, I could, but that was like 30 or 40 more bucks a month just to get that and Disney Plus. So I was like, nah.
just pay for the Disney Plus.
Yeah, just pay for the Disney Plus.
The
So
only reason I've got my unlimited is it's still too expensive.
yeah. All right, so any other shows anybody's watching? Like I mentioned, I'm watching The World According to Jeff Goldblum, and I think it's pretty funny. He's funny, and the topics are just out there. Like the first episode's about sneakers, the second one's about ice cream. It's just interesting. Like I think he would be a good host for just about any show, just because of the way he talks and the way he delivers, and he's a very smart man, and he's very thoughtful when he speaks, and his demeanor is just hilarious all the time. So it's a very entertaining show. I'm also watching The Watchmen. It is really freaking good.
Is that
HBO,
HBO?
yeah. It's really good. I did not
heard
think
that's very good.
I did not think it was going to be the way it was, like the way it is. Like I did not anticipate this was what it would, how they would tackle the whole race issue. It's pretty fantastic.
I'll have to watch it because HBO has that and it has His Dark Materials, right?
I think so, yeah. I haven't watched that
heard
yet
that's
though.
I've heard that's phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might need to. That's Stephen King, isn't it?
No, that is what is his name? That is
Maybe I'm thinking of the.
Pullman. There is a series based on a Stephen King novel, on Hulu, Castle Rock.
Okay.
And Karina's been watching that. She's really enjoying it.
Okay.
We've also been watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine because I hadn't watched it before. That's a really good show.
One of the funniest shows on TV.
It really is.
It's really good.
Because we're probably halfway through season 5 right now.
Title of your sex tape?
And like I'm really pleasantly surprised. I wasn't a huge fan of Andy Samberg when he was on SNL, but he's got I don't know how much of Brooklyn Nine-Nine he writes, but the show itself it's got a lot of really well written humor in it,
Mm-hmm.
and all the characters are likable.
Yeah, I enjoy it a lot. I think it was.
Yeah.
It pissed me off when they got canceled, but I'm so glad they got picked back up. So
Yeah, I
It's
can't
really
imagine
good.
what Fox was thinking canceling it.
the only thing I can think of is they had a deal already. Like they made some deal with NBC, and because it happened like within 2 days of them being canceled, they were picked up on NBC, and I was like,
That's
what?
not on demand or Netflix, is it?
It's on Hulu.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you-
streaming service?
Do you pay for Spotify?
No.
Oh.
Do you
Pay-
want my login?
If you pay for Spotify, you get Hulu for free. If you do the triple, isn't there like a triple pack thing where you get Hulu, Disney Plus, and like ESPN?
Yes, and I think it's the commercial free.
Yeah, it's the commercial free Hulu too, because it's like $14.99 a month or something.
Yeah, I have the student Spotify, so I pay $5 a month, and I get Spotify Premium and Hulu, but it has commercials. But
Yeah, I have a feeling I pay $10 a month for Spotify, but I have a feeling it's probably the commercial Hulu.
yeah,
I haven't checked. I've never logged into Hulu, so I don't know, but
when I don't think you're a student.
not anymore. I'm a lifelong student. What are you talking about?
You're a
We're all
student
students.
in the School of Hard Knocks.
It's a hard knock life for us.
Oh, why? Why did I say that? I hate that
Why?
song.
Why would you say?
All right. So that's it for our show today. Any questions from the chat? I know we had Alice come on in here with a host, with the Nerd Stash come on in here with a raid. If we'll sit here for just a second, see if there's any questions. Any final thoughts, gentlemen, about anything gaming or pop culture related? Anything you're excited about? Any Christmas presents you might be
I'm
expecting?
excited for Christmas. I'm excited for Christmas and my birthday.
When is your birthday?
December 23rd.
Oh boy.
I guess I could have just said the 23rd instead of December 20th. Whatever.
What? Yeah, so my wife, my brother, and my sister are all on the 20th.
This guy. This is 20. I think I got to point this way. I always
Yep.
get confused because it's mirrored. Yeah,
Yeah.
this guy.
I'm a twin, so it's me and my sister, and then his wife, who is also another person, all have the same birthday.
Oh, I didn't know you were a twin.
Yep. He's got a twin sister. She lives in California.
Does she have any children?
Yes, she has 4.
Were one of them a set of twins?
No.
Ah, because it's supposedly a gene. So like, I guess if you're a twin, you're much more likely to have twins.
Yeah, it's supposed to skip a
There's-
generation.
There's
Oh,
another
really?
twin set in our family.
What?
Crazy.
Our
Would you-
uncle has a set of twins.
Yeah, or on the other side, so on our dad's side.
So both sides of the family have twins.
Yep. So we have twin cousins. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yep. Pretty wild. Weird and wild stuff.
I can't imagine raising 2 kids at one time. Like,
Yeah. So they had me, then they had twins, then they had a 4th a year and a half later. And then they were done. And they started at like my dad was 17 when I was born, so they started super early, and by my time dad was 22, they were done with kids. He had 4
Yeah.
kids and he's done. So yeah. Our parents are young. They're not neither of them are 60 yet.
wow, that's 'cause my dad turns 60 next month. Actually, a month.
Yeah, our mom. I think our mom turned 60 in a year and a half. 2021.
That's when my mom turned 60.
Wow, our mom's the same age.
When's your mom's birthday?
April.
Yeah, my mom's July 1st.
Gotcha. Alrighty. Well, no questions from the chat, so we're gonna call it. Thank you guys, Swift, as always, Jeffy Pop, as always. Thank you guys for coming and chatting with us here during Nights at the Gaming Table Chat. We'll do another episode probably in January, probably mid to late January. What? What are you laughing about?
I'm moving to Gaston.
Oh.
I think I got it right this time. Did I wait?
Yeah.
But yeah, look for another episode in January. We'll be back talking about more games. I'm sure we'll have more news. Usually there's some news mid-January about releases and stuff like that. So we'll probably have some more information. And we'll be getting hyped for all the releases coming out early next year. The first 6 months is crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna be
so-
broke.
Yeah. Luckily, I already have one of them pre-ordered, so I don't have to worry about that.
Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the Steelbook version. Every time there's a Steelbook for a Final Fantasy game, I get it.
They always look so cool.
They do. I've got the 12 Steelbook from the original release. I've got the 12 Steelbook from the second release. I've got the 15 Steelbook. I try to get as many of the Steelbooks as I can.
You didn't get the 10 Steelbook?
No, I didn't.
I might have one.
My original PS2 is not. No, it's not a Steelbook because I bought it secondhand.
Yeah.
I got it. I got for.
Steelbook.
What? How much did the PS2 come out for? Like, was it 300 when it first released? The system itself,
I think.
the PS2, because I thought it was pretty expensive. It was like the first time everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, it's expensive."
I think it was 300, but eventually it went down to 2.
Yeah. So I bought it from somebody I worked with. He sold it to me for $200, and it was like a couple months after release. He sold it to me for $200, and it came with Metal Gear Solid 2. I think that was the PS2, right?
Mm-hmm.
MSG 2, and then Final Fantasy 10, and I think one other game. And I was like,
So,
this felt like an incredible deal, and I feel like he might have stole it.
Sony cut the price of the console in May of 2002 from $299 to $199, making it the same price as the GameCube and $100 less than the Xbox.
Gotcha. So it was still 300 when I got mine, because I got mine
Yeah.
like
March
Two-
4th,
two-
2000.
I got mine in 2000, maybe 2001, maybe early 2001. So it might have been almost a year after release, but it was still $300.
True.
So yeah. All right. Thank you guys. Have a great rest of your night. That's it for Nights at the Gaming Table Chat.
See you guys.
Later.